3 times. 4 times. Doing gang things. Living super clean. That it came up. Can't control us. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that it came up. 4 times cause the man can't control us. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that it came up. 4 times cause the man can't control us. Look at you done came up now. Get it how you live, mess the game up now. Ain't messing with yoga, but get the flame up. Hey, used to be Toby, but got your name back now. I see ya, paid under pressure. 25 lighters, got them all on the dresser. If it ain't for you, ain't for you then. If you a lame or a sucker, wanna dress you then. Grown up now, bump the childish ways. Got a wife and a bunch of kids to raise. Punch a clock side, hustle or a business you endure to ensure that all the bills is paid. Slow clap for your homeboy, could've turned out like your homeboy. Been on the same block, cooking up the same rock on the cell block lot with your homeboy. But no, you had vision, you had gold. Brand new you on the old time road, take care of home where you bust your low. Black men don't teach, screaming bump the hoe. Real men talk, real king ways. Still in captivity, but minds ain't slave. Got a little wisdom, boy, you PD grade. Giving out the knowledge on the stoop these days. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that it came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that it came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the folk that it moved up. Even if you had the slow start screwed up. Used to gang bang, now homie brewed up. Had a little plan, I had them blew up. Look at you like a man right now. Dressed to the T, smelling like a grand right now. And you ain't got nothing from a handout now. Just faith and hard work gets it planned out now. You could've took a bunch of dusty rolls. The hand dealt with a bunch of cards to fold. To stay hot while the world is freezing cold. The same plot, but the story's never old. Slow clap for your kinfolk. Could've been asking what your info. Prosecutor could be trying to do you in for the 2020 twins, so you passing out the info. But no, you had purpose, you had plans. I ain't throwing nothing on Mercedes bands. Won't impress y'all, don't need no fans. That ain't my God, who is that man? This real men talk, real king ways. Still in captivity, but minds ain't slave. Got a little wisdom, boy, you peak these grades. Giving out the knowledge on the stoop these days. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that it came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that it came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. Yeah, real man. Sheesh. Yeah, doing cane things. Living super clean. That it came up.
1 time for my king doing king things. Mom these hoes cause he know he got a good thing. I submit and I cook and I clean and I never hold back on that pop. I'ma let it rain. Made me honest, I got a rain. All praises to the most high, let it sing. A real man able, sister never came. And I ain't going nowhere, this is not a game. Look at you, girl, you lonely right now. Settling for bums instead of in the most high. He provide and protect so he get our respect. And he leading us aboard when them chariots fly. I don't really think you hear me though. You can't cross this bridge on some billy goats. Let them save you in the end like a Seminole. BS help me, shout it, let the silly go.
1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that it came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that it came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up.
Shalom and shalom, sisters and cousins, and praise the Lord, saints. It's your favorite housewife, Miss Mono. Good evening. Good Thursday evening to you all. Thank you so much, honey. You're so wonderful. Thank you. Keep making pink. All praises. Thank you so much, dear. Lots of hugs and kisses for my hubby. Thank y'all so much for being here with me this evening. Thank y'all so much for being here with me this evening. I appreciate y'all. As I tell y'all every week, you could be anywhere on Wendy Williams' worldwide internet, but you are here with me, and I appreciate that. I mentioned Wendy Williams because today is her 60th birthday. Okay, all praises to the Most High for making it to 60. I pray one day, you know what I'm saying, and I'll be able to do the same and be in good health and great spirits and, you know what I'm saying, in my right mind, serving the Most High, serving my family, all that stuff. So all praises for that. Angelina, shalom and shalom, sis. Thank you so much for joining me. Speaking of Angelina, she was one of the many beautiful people I got to meet for the first time at F3. I mean, it was great to see so many of y'all for the first time, to like meet you all, and just fellowship with you guys. Sabbath class was amazing. I hope you got to make it. But yes, overall it was amazing, and definitely meeting my good sis here was a highlight. Okay, just in case you're new here, maybe just taking a glance at the show and you're like, who is this beautiful creature on my screen? I go by at Miss Mono's World in these content creator streets, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all the places where the content creators be is where you can find me at Miss Mono's World. Please also, if you are not at the YouTube, head over to the YouTube at Monologue Magad, MONOLOGMAGAD. You can catch this episode live right now. You can catch past episodes there. You can check out some music from my husband. All kind of great stuff on the YouTube at Monologue Magad. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live here at the House of Mono. Also, shout out to my audience on the Saya TV. Shout out to y'all. I'm live on the Saya TV every week. Same black time, same black channel. You can see past episodes there too as well. So if you have not downloaded the Nasaya TV app, go ahead and do that right now on your smart TV, your Roku, your Fire Stick, all the good things where you watch the TV. Okay, let me see. Anything else I need to? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Yes, it was. Sabbath class was amazing. And so my husband taught, preached the Sabbath class. I want to use the right term. So he spoke at our Sabbath class and he was speaking about praise and worship. And when I tell you that it was just such a relief, it was so refreshing to my spirit because, you know, we grew up in church and we grew up on praise and worship. Like it was just a known. You was coming to church and the first thing you was going to do was praise and worship. And then, you know, growing up in a Christian household, hearing gospel music all the time, it's always, you know what I'm saying? Like it was just a normal part of our life. And so I know for me, I can speak for me coming into the truth and having to re-examine everything. I even had to re-examine myself, and my relationship with the Most High. And if what I was doing was right. You know, I didn't want to be caught up in the traditions of men. I didn't want to be being misled. So I just had to make sure that what I was doing was right. And I'm the kind of person that, hey, boo, is this supposed to be a towel?
Here you go, Mel.
Thank you, my love. Monologue Magad, ladies and gentlemen. Please excuse him. He's so dramatic. You do take tips. He does take tips. I'll just be giving him his money back anyway. Uncle Man, shalom and shalom. So I'm the kind of person, when I re-examine something, I have to re-examine it all the way. Like, no, I'm gonna totally put this down and I'm gonna go and figure out what I need to figure out the truth, and then I'll come back to it. And unfortunately, like my husband said at the Sabbath class, it led to a throwing out the baby with the bathwater. Like, I wasn't throwing away my relationship with the Most High, but I was re-examining my role, my parts in that relationship. So it's, man, the praise and worship was a blessing. It was amazing. See Hattie led praise and worship. It was just an amazing time. F3 altogether was an amazing time. Thank you to everyone who reached out and told us about the great time you had. Thank you to everybody that's asking about next year. Like, people want to volunteer to sign up to volunteer next year. They want to know what's popping next year. Can I get a vendor table for next year? So all praise to the Most High for that. We will have some announcements coming up. I believe my husband is going live on Saturday. I don't know if he's going to talk about it then, but we have some more things coming up. So, y'all might not even have to wait till next year. Okay. All praise to the Most High. I have a righteous nutrition. Shalom and shalom, sis. Thank you so much for joining me. So yeah. Okay. So listen, y'all, I usually come with my side stories, right? And we're going to talk. Our main topic is, have you tried unplugging yourself? Okay, so we're going to get into that. But so I'm digging for side stories, and usually I can turn on the news, get some ideas, and go from there. But when I tell you they're not talking about anything else but this freaking election, and the Republican National Convention is today. Matter of fact, it's supposed to be like the final day. So their demigod is speaking today. And yes, I called that man a demigod because that's what they're trying to make him. Their demigod is speaking today. And so, like, as a student, an observer, a critical thinker, a self-learner of history, just observing the quote unquote attempt, okay, that's what we're gonna call it, the quote unquote assassination attempt. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. Okay, I'm not. It does not. Exactly. Can't believe Trump acting like a Christian now. But see, so that's the veneer that he's been putting on this whole time. And see, now you're about to make me jump to that, because what's so crazy about it's the veneer that he's put on this whole time, right? So it kind of goes along with what's going on right now. It's like, did we not all see the same thing? We was all looking at the television and we all saw the same thing happen. So it's the fact that we're all side-eyeing each other, but there are a few people, and I mean, they are standing on it. They have proclaimed that Donald Trump is the beast of Revelation that suffered the mortal wound and rose again. They are proclaiming all these prophecies, talking about it, because it was his right ear. It's symbolic of, just the puffery, okay? The way they are puffing this man up, it's scary. It's scary to me. And it's scary to me in terms of when you look into how these megalomaniacs rise to power. And what I mean by megalomaniac is someone who amplifies himself. Like the whole Trump campaign, it's all about Donald Trump. Like, it's all about him. Okay, so in this context, he would be the megalomaniac in person, right? It's a cult of personality, if you will. And it's all based on him and his personality. I don't know if you guys remember him saying when he ran before, like, listen, I can stand out in the street in New York City and shoot someone and nobody's going to do anything. And he knew this, and he stood 10 toes down and said this on national television. And so if you look at what's happened since he said that, how this man has been in and out of court, how he's been sued multiple times, and even to the Supreme Court reiterating that as a president, he couldn't be held responsible for any crimes he committed. Was he wrong? Was he wrong? The fact that you can be charged with paying a stripper hush money, Okay, she's not the only. She's the one that he's been indicted for paying because he was using campaign funds. Okay, but there are so many other women. Like there are so many other women. There are so many other things that this man has done in plain sight that for a normal person, like if a normal person did this in your family, you would excommunicate them and never talk to them again. But for some reason, because this man is the president, or trying to be the president, or a former president, actually doesn't have anything to do with it, because even before he ran for president, we in this country have a issue with putting rich, well, not even rich, I mean like wealthy people on pedestals. Once you've reached a certain height of celebrity and wealth in this country, you are literally above the law. I know we don't like to admit that, but let's tell the truth. How many times have you seen a person pay their way out of a crime? Think about it. Just think about if you know someone that's in jail, that's been to jail or whatever the case may be. Think about what they went to jail for. Now, I'm not talking about you unalivers or anything like that, okay? I'm talking about petty stuff. Weed, a little shoplifting, little something, just a little light crime, okay? The sentence, the consequence of that for a person with funding is going to be totally different than the consequences of a person without funding. The person with funding probably doesn't even have to show up to court, okay? They're just going to send their lawyers but the person without funding, you don't know what's happened. You're really at the mercy of the court because you don't have the money to pay the lawyers with the connections to get this thrown out for you. So we've always had a problem with exalting people of great means. Okay. And so I was reading, because the theory or the principle that I saw playing out here, and I don't know the name for it, I just know how to explain it. But it's whenever you have a leader that's trying to rise to power, there has to be an ever-present enemy. That you have to be fighting against something. How many politicians do you know ever came promoting real peace? Okay, real peace, like, no, let's make peace with all our enemies. Let's try to treat people fairly so that no one's getting that's never the case. Okay, it's even if they come just off the strength of America and her enemies. I'm going to defend America from her enemies, even though, like, since the end of World War II, this country has been a political and military superpower. So where are these great enemies? Okay, even though that's still the way that power is gathered among these people who are in this political arena. If you look up dictatorship and totalitarianism, because this is where it took me, it's really crazy how it kind of describes the American government. Like, it's really crazy how it talks about dictators controlling the media, how it talks about dictators controlling people's thought processes, how there's an inner circle of people who make the decisions, and how they have their elites that they choose to be in the forefront. Okay? America is not a democracy. It is not a democracy. You may think that it's a democracy because they make you stand in lines. And I'm going to say make you stand in line because check this out. They make you stand in line to cast these ballots. But at the end of the voting day, they count on their 2 to 5 or however many delegates per state to make the final decision. So what am I standing outside in the hot sun for? What is the point of me voting when my vote does not even, you don't consider my vote? It goes to 1 or 2 old white men who decided that they know better than everybody else. Because let's look back at our government and how it's always been run. From the beginning, it was established that white land-owning men were the only ones that were able to make decisions. So how we as a people got fooled into thinking like, oh yes, it's different now. We women have the right to vote, and we blacks, we can vote. And this is why I say make you, because it's a joke. It is very scary at this point. Only white people can buy their way out. White people and black people with enough money, okay? Yeah, we do need peace, but we're never going to get that. We're never going to get peace, because peace does not allow opportunities for people to make money. I'm gonna just be honest with you. Like, okay, I'm totally re-binging Game of Thrones right now. I don't know how many of y'all watch Game of Thrones, but there's this part where Bran is talking to Littlefinger, and he's talking about like the chaos that's about to ensue because they're getting ready to fight the White Walkers and stuff. And Bran tells him there's nothing wrong with chaos. Chaos is a ladder. Okay, and if you go and just study like political strategy, you'll see that they actually lean on chaotic events to increase their power, because what seems to happen every time something goes wrong? Let's think of how they've implemented these industries upon us. Okay, let's take a look at the healthcare industry. They came in and said, "Oh no, you're not being taken care of. The local doctors that you're going to, they're not good enough. You need our doctors. You need government doctors." Right? Okay, so now the government has decided that they're over all of healthcare. They implement these medical schools and all these licenses and certifications and so on and so on. And now you have it to the point where people can't even afford to go to the doctor for basic healthcare anymore. In Revelations, it talks about the Antichrist causing all, both small and great, to take the mark. It doesn't say it will make you. And so it reminds me of this voting situation, because you're causing me to stand out here all day and waste my time because you're lying to me, making me think that this is something that it's not. You have people right now not speaking to their family members because they're so caught up in this political theater, thinking that it's something when it's really not. And they're acting like their arguments are going to change anything. This is what's so crazy to me. It's like you yelling at me about this drama that these people are putting on is not going to change anything. And I'm not saying that it doesn't affect us in real life. Yes, it does. These government officials and their legislation, it affects us every day. I totally get that. I don't know if you guys know this, but like a week or two ago, the Supreme Court ruled that each city can vote on if they want to ban people from sleeping in public and or camping in public. Yeah. The Supreme Court decided that each city can, like the city of Atlanta, can decide, okay, no more sleeping on the streets. No more tents, no more nothing in the public. So where are they supposed to go? But see, there was a time when people were allowed, not people that look like me, not people that look like me, but there were people that were allowed to come over to this country when people who did look like me was already over here chilling, you know what I'm saying? Like chilling with nations and civilizations and laws and hygiene and all that good stuff, plenty of food, was over here chilling, minding their business. And then these people came who did not look like me and stole this land from them. And they just decided wherever I land, that's going to make my home. Okay. So, you could just pull up, look around, see that it's empty, throw up your fence, and now it's your house. And so we went from that to people now can't afford rent. They can't afford a mortgage. People are living in their cars, sleeping on the street, sleeping in tents. Some of them choose to, some of them do not. And I'm going to say a majority of them do not. I don't believe that people just want to live in a small, cramped up, inconvenient space. I don't believe that. Yes, we make I get it that some people are just making the best out of their situation and using it to create content, but I don't think people want to live like that. And so we can never get attention to these real issues because we're all caught up in the cult of personality. The government is all bullshit. It is. And so, but where is it in the Bible where the people start asking for a king like the other nations? Listen, all these other nations have kings. We freaking Israelites, as always, looking around, worried about what everybody else is doing instead of minding the business that pays us, okay? Instead of tending to what the Most High had given us, we sitting around worrying about what everybody else is doing. They got a king, why we don't have one. And in the reasoning, and see, this is why I love the Most High, because He gonna tell you why. Okay, this is why you're not supposed to have a king over you. They're gonna steal your children, they're gonna steal your resources, they're gonna take your food. And it's exactly what is happening right now. There's a brother right now who's trying to raise money. Paisley the Hebrew right now is trying to raise money because the government decided to take his sister's baby because she doesn't want to vaccinate. Right now, today in 2024. Go scroll TikTok and you'll see how many women have to fight to leave the hospital. And a lot of times they don't leave with their babies. And it's not abuse, it's not neglect. It's, oh, we're the government, or some nurse gets a stick up their butt and decides to weaponize CPS, because let's not act like that doesn't happen. They decide to weaponize CPS, and now all of a sudden you have people just coming to take your child. But it's exactly what the Most High said would happen. You can't go right now. Do you know how hard it is to find a seeded watermelon right now? There are people who are on social media right now complaining because they cannot get their hands on a seeded watermelon. You don't even have a choice in the food that you eat. You don't have a choice in the water that you drink. You should be able to go outside and dig a well and have all the fresh water your family needs. But for some reason, the government convinced us that, oh no, you need us to clean that water for you. Even though people have been living off of this water for centuries, eons, and decades, all of a sudden, no, you need us to clean the water for you. And now my husband and some friends of ours were just talking earlier. Now you can freaking smell the chlorine when you turn the water on. It's not always, they're not coming to save you. They're not coming to save you. Okay. And here's yes, I'm serious. Look it up. Look it up on the Supreme Court approving cities banning homelessness. That's basically what they're doing. They're banning homelessness because it is really sad. And what's crazy about it is what's crazy about it is we're just letting it go on. It's like we're all watching the same car accident happen, but the police are trying to tell us, oh, nothing to see here, nothing to see here. But no, I just seen this tragedy occur. And you're gonna tell me it's nothing? And nobody's asking any questions? And then y'all are exalting this man? And so, but this is what they do. There has to be a perceived enemy in order to get people to rally behind you. Because what do we need you for? If there's nothing, if there's no enemy that I need you to protect me from, then what do I need you for? I don't need you to regulate me. I don't need you to tell me how to raise my children. Okay, it was the perceived enemy from 9/11 that caused us to let go of so much of our civil liberties. And now it's basically to the point where everybody knows everything that you're doing on your phone. You can Google anyone you want and find their address. Why? Oh, we need the government to save us from the threat. The threat of what? The threat of what? Because since everything I remember before everything was digital, there was no identity theft. I'm not going to say there wasn't no identity theft. I'm just going to say it was hard to do it back then. Okay. You had to like dig through people's trash cans and find their old credit card receipts. And even then, that wasn't, you know what I'm saying? It's not what it is today. People was not hacking into your account, hacking into your computer, taking all your money while you sitting there watching on the phone. It's not what it is today. And we just keep going and going and going. And and I know it's to the point where us, the regular people, we have no power to stop this monstrosity from rolling over us. We don't. It's going to keep on going. Because the people who are making money need to keep making more money. If that was not what it was all about, we would still be living in our individual huts, okay, in our little colonies, growing our own food, or whatever the case may be. We would not be sitting under a government that claims to have a Food and Drug Administration that really does nothing, because every other week there's a recall, and it's not a recall on meat, it's a recall on vegetables. You mean y'all messing up the lettuce and the cucumbers now? Yes, they are. Had a recall on cucumbers because you're getting salmonella from cucumbers. What is that? That's supposed to only be a problem with chicken. Why am I getting salmonella from cucumbers? Why am I getting E. coli from lettuce when E. coli is usually only found in fecal matter? But trust the government. Trust the government. The big bad government who's going to protect you. Protect you from what? Protect you from what? I read a while ago about the beginning of grocery stores, because when I wonder about history, I wonder about history in real time. Like, I want to know the day-to-day actions that led to whatever I'm looking at. Okay. And so I was wondering, like, how did the government, what propaganda was released to make people think that it was better to shop at a grocery store than it was to grow your own food? Right. And so what I discovered is it was a mixture of industrialization, right? Because now you have people moving to cities to work, and so they don't have that room to farm. Not only that, they don't have the time now, because now they have to go to work for someone else. Okay. So then it became about convenience. It became about how we can allow people to get the most for their money. And so whereas you used to go to the little general store and there would be, enough bags of flour for a few people to come and get some, now you're into mass production, because now we have to feed more people from this grocery store. We have more customers than we have product, right? Because back then, you would go in the store one at a time. Like, I would walk in the store, the shopper would walk around with me, put the stuff in the bag, ring it up, and then you're gone. But as you start getting more people, okay, now we need to be able to service more people. This is not enough for just one shopper. Now we need more product because we're not making enough to feed the community. So now we need to mass produce these things. And as you and I know, when you start mass producing things, you end up with viruses that originated in fecal matter on plant-based or plants. Not even plant-based. We're talking about straight up plants. And so I was reading that one of the ways that this happens is sometimes farmers will use manure from their other animals and they don't let it sit long enough. You have to let whether it's chicken manure, cow manure, whatever you're using, you have to let it sit in order for all the pathogens and the bacteria and everything to die out. You can't just take the poop and roll it in the soil. You're going to get diseases. Not only that, if you think like, I don't remember what we were watching, But they were talking about how the pork industry in North Carolina makes living in the area difficult. And of course, it affects poor and Black people, right? But so the waste from the pigs runs off into this water supply, and they take that water and irrigate the farm with the water from that has the runoff from the pig poop. And I'm not making this up. I am not making this up. It's crazy to me. Right? But we can't deal with these small issues because we have to deal with this so-called perceived enemy. We can't have enough money for schools. We have teachers on the internet right now today arguing with parents about who's supposed to pay for the teacher's school supplies in the classroom. Hello, why aren't it's the government that's supposed to pay for it, not the parent. Listen, the government came and said, hey, we need y'all kids to be more educated so they can work in our industry. So we're going to force you to send your kids to our schools. So you're going to force me to send the kid to school and then I got to pay? That's crazy. You hired the teacher. Why don't you provide the supplies? The people at Kroger is not asking me to help pay for cash registers and shelving or none of that. No, they provide what the people need to get the job done. So why aren't we collectively putting this onus back on the government instead of arguing amongst ourselves? Because the government is going to tell you, oh, we have bigger issues to deal with right now. We have to send all of our money to fund a war in Ukraine and Russia. We have to send all of our money to fund the war in Israel and Palestine. There are genocides happening in Africa that we have to send our money to fund for. Never mind that we're funding both sides of the conflict. Never mind that. But this is what our money has to go to now. We don't have time to fund schools. We don't have time to fund community centers. We don't have time to fund food pantries. We don't have time to fund shelters. We don't have the time or the money or the resources for this because this enemy is what we have to take care of. And for the sake of just feeling like someone is protecting and watching over you, now you have a whole host of sheep, and I'm going to call them sheep because they just go along with whatever the government says because they're believing that it's going to be some kind of protection. But the way that the panoramic ripped through this country, the way that our infrastructure is crumbling, our education system is crumbling. The moral fabric of our society is in the trash. But let's not focus on that. Let's focus on these conflicts. Let's focus on this war. Let's focus on an alleged attempted assassination, which, by the way, they found out that this person's social media accounts were fake anyway. But nobody's going to say anything. No, they're still having their convention right now. And Trump is the head speaker right now. And I'm sure he is pumping and priming them people up. He's already getting them ready to talk about stealing an election. Why? Because there has to be a constant and present enemy. Look at how Hitler did the Germans and put them against the Russians and the Khazars, because that's who they were, okay? Put them against the Russians and the Khazars and allowed the whole Holocaust to happen. Because he convinced these people that all of their problems came from these Russians and Khazars. And we can't deny that a lot of the problems were. Not saying to justify what happened, but he made these people think, oh, these new people are a threat. They're bringing porn to your children. They're loaning money at high amounts. They're committing usury. They're destroying the moral fabric of us purebred Germans. And so even though now we're told that our enemy has different plans, we're always under the impression that there's an enemy. First, it was Saddam Hussein. I don't know how many of you all are old enough to remember Desert Storm. I was in Germany when Desert Storm was taking place. I remember that. And after Saddam Hussein, whoever else was next. I mean, it's just then you had Gaddafi, and then you had Bin Laden, and then it was just there's got to always be a bad guy, because if there's not a bad guy for me to protect you from, then you don't need me. That is why I'm going to say that is a large reason why the race war will never die. I'm not talking about biblical spiritual reasons. I just mean if we look at it naturally, they can never let the race war die. There always has to be, we always have to need a government, or else we don't need a government. Or else we don't, right? If there's nothing for you to protect me from, then what do I need you for? I don't really need you to protect me from then small government works, right? Because if there's no outside threat, my only issues would be with my neighbors in my community. And then our small governments can handle that. So what do we need big granddaddy federal government for anymore? What's the purpose? And so that's just been on my mind a lot. I again, as a student of history and observing how these things go on, and I watch what happens. Let's just watch what happens, because in my research of dictatorship and totalitarianism, I found that the position of dictator originated in Rome, of course, and it was to only be used for temporary emergency situations, like in times of war or in times of crisis or famine. Then you elect who is ever in charge, and you give them, total power so that they can make whatever decisions are needed to help the people. And so you start to get the introduction of the dictator for life situation with Julius Caesar. He came in and proclaimed himself dictator for life, but you see what happened to him. Okay, Brutus and them was like, nah, pimp, we're not doing this for the rest of our lives. Okay, but so in order to prevent this from happening now, you have an inner circle, and this inner circle chooses their representative. I know y'all don't like to believe that happens, but that's exactly what happens. None of these people are here by accident. It's not a surprise. It wasn't good luck and hard work. No. They were chosen by this inner circle. And to keep the balance of power, the inner circle stays strong. The inner circle has to be united to keep the dictator from going crazy. So I'm just very excited. Excited to see what goes on after this election. It's July. November will be here before you know it. Not that we're rushing it. So, we'll see what's going on. I can't believe they took someone's kid because of it. Oh, yeah. And that's not uncommon. I've heard of that happening before, where children are snatched from their mothers in the hospital because they don't want to comply with the vaccine standards. They don't want their baby to get that vitamin K shot when they're first born. Yeah, it's sad. It really is sad. Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live here at the House of Mono. Okay, so let's get into our main topic. Hold on, I'm sorry, y'all. I can't see the numbers on the screen no more. I hate that. But anyway, okay. Our main topic, have you tried unplugging yourself, right? And so this came to me. Someone sent me a meme. A picture, a meme, whatever you want to call it. No, it was a picture. It wasn't a meme. It was a picture. And the picture said, have you tried unplugging the United States and plugging it back in? Right. And it's funny, haha. But it really just kind of made me think. it made me think in terms of what do we mean by like unplug a thing, and what do we do that for? I don't know how many of you all have ever had problems with your phone going slow. Like if you're one of the people that never turn off your phone, like never turn it off, like it's always on or it's on a charger and then you're using it. Sometimes your phone will start acting up, it'll start going slow, it'll start tripping, right? And they'll tell you, okay, turn your phone off, leave it off for 30 seconds, and then turn it back on, right? And you might be like, why? Like, what's the point of that? So by turning the phone off, you allow the computer to download new information, right? Because they send out updates all the time. They send out little technical updates all the time. It's not always just a big iOS update. Sometimes it's something from the phone company. Sometimes it is something from Apple. But if you never turn your phone off to allow it time to not be processing current information, right? So now it can download new information. Then your phone is forever slow. It's forever raggedy. It's forever lagging. Like you're here you are thinking like you need a whole new phone. When the fact of the matter is, you just need to let it turn off and get some new information. Okay. Like even with our computers, why do you unplug the thing if it's not working? Okay, let me give the computer a chance to rest, right? To figure out what all I just told it to do and get rid of all that because I don't need it anymore. I need it to be blank when I plug it back in so I can fill it with what I need it to do for right now. Okay. So this is us unplugging the computer, right? But we people walk around, we don't turn ourselves off. And I know that we like to think of sleep as turning ourselves off, right? Because that's what they tell you. Like, oh, when your body sleeps, it's renewing itself and your brain does this and the REM. And this is why it's important to have the cycles and blah, 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 blah. But do you know that we're even sleeping wrong? Side note, we're sleeping wrong. Before the introduction of the 8-hour workday, people used to sleep sporadically throughout the day and often in shifts. So say you would sleep from like 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Then you would get up at 10, go visit a neighbor, read a book, have a cup of tea or whatever. And then when you ready to go back to sleep, you go back to sleep for another 4 or 5 hours. It is not until the introduction of industrialization and the 8 hours for work, 8 hours for play, and 8 hours for whatever else that now we're forcing ourselves to cramp our sleep into this 8-hour window. Okay, but I digress. Okay, but so that's not even turning yourself off. I don't know if you realize that. But let's look at the rate of depression and anxiety that is going on in the world around us. And some of y'all sleep a lot. That's one of the major signs of depression, right? You sleeping all the time. But so if that is the sleep that's supposed to reset you, then why isn't it working? They come up with medicines because, the depression, the anxiety is all a result of a chemical imbalance in your head. And I'm not saying that that's not true. Okay. But even the medicine they give you, it doesn't reset you. It works for a little while. And then you're back at the doctor asking for a new medicine because this one is making you feel funny. It's making you weak. It's making you sleepy all the time. You can't function. They offer meditation. They tell you, oh, yoga and meditation is a great way to relax your mind. But what am I relaxing my mind to? And so for me, when we talk about unplugging yourself, I mean getting some quiet time in prayer, getting some quiet time in the word. That's the only way you're going to unplug yourself. Think about how your brain runs. Okay. I don't know about y'all. Maybe I'm a little ADHD. Okay. Um, my brain is always working. My brain is always running. There's always ideas. There's always thoughts. I'm a writer. So sometimes I'll see something, my brain will go off on a whole tangent and make up a whole story. Like that my brain is always, the wheels are always turning. The only time I honestly get to step outside of my own mind is when I'm seeking the Most High. Now it's not me and my thoughts. Now my brain gets a chance to rest because the wheels aren't turning anymore. We're not thinking about earthly carnal things. We're not thinking about what we gonna eat, what we gonna wear, what I'm gonna do today, what I'm gonna do with the kids, what does my husband need? What do I need? How am I gonna eat? Oh, I want to buy that. Oh, I don't like that. Oh, this is getting on. You understand what I'm saying? Just the onslaught of thoughts that you have throughout the day. Prayer is your time to rest that. And when I pray, I literally say like, okay, I'm laying my cares at your feet. I'm giving you my burden for yours because his yoke is easy and his burden is light. And that is my literal prayer every day. Like, Yahweh, okay, I'm giving you my burdens. Now, what would you have me to do today? Because if you think about it, a lot of times, like we be missing hearing from God because we're too busy with our own carnal thoughts. We're too busy running our own ideas through our head. We don't ever take time to check in with the Most High and see how he feels about it. We get to going on the pride of life. Okay. And the pride of life is just the invincible feeling that you get from being alive. A lot of people don't understand that literally every breath that you draw is a gift from the Most High. Every beat of your heart is a gift from the Most High. And so we get caught up with the fact that, oh, I'm still living. I'm still here. I can do what I want. I'm invincible. That's the pride of life. And let's be real, that keeps us from hearing from God. Let's see. That's why it's so important for me to set aside those hours every day for the Most High, not just on the Sabbath. Hello. Not just on the Sabbath. Listen, not saying I don't need prayer on the Sabbath, but the Sabbath is, that's the easy. You know what I'm saying? That's an easy day. Sabbath, easy day. So not just on the Sabbath, on every day. Every day. It's like a literal check-in for my mind. And I can only share my prayer experience because I believe every relationship is different. Every relationship is different. Just like I can be friends with one person and our relationship can be totally different. I have 5 kids. I have 5 children. Okay. But more specifically to this situation, I have 3 adult daughters. Okay. These are adults with their own adult mind and their own adult thoughts, and they're, independent thinkers and all this good stuff. And so each one of them have a different type of relationship with me. My youngest is still very much my baby when she wants to be. Sometimes she wants to be a kid and sometimes she wants to be a grown-up. Okay. But whenever she's around me, she's a kid, right? Mommy, I love, can you do this for me? Can you take me here? Can we do this? Come here, give me a hug. She's that kid. Okay. My middle child is very much, all right, Ma, I'll see you when I see you. She's that kid. She's doing her thing. She's living her life. Y'all know she loves me, but that's not her attachment style. Her attachment style is, are you still there for me? Okay, you are. Okay, I'll see you later. And then she goes on about her business. My oldest child, it's very much a more mature relationship. She's older. She's more mature for her age. So we're friends. Like, this is one of my homegirls. We talk. She's like one of my homegirls. She's still my daughter, but we talk. She tells me about her boyfriend. She tells me about her friends. Like, we talk like we homegirls. Okay. And so that's 3 different people that I have a relationship with. And each one of those relationships is the same. So when this child comes to, all 3 of these children can ask me the same question, and I'm going to have a different answer for all 3 of them based on them. And so I dare not think that the Most High, who created us all, who sits high and looks low, who freaking gave me these children, would be any different or any less so. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm sharing my prayer experience with you and hope that it will encourage you to grow your own prayer experience. Because, like every relationship, it only grows when you talk to this person and you spend time with them. Ladies, how do you know that a man is interested in you? He wants to talk to you all the time. He wants to spend time with you all the time. He's interested in the things that you have to say. Why do you think it's any different when showing love towards the Most High? And again, this is the disservice that we've been done by not being told the truth about our relationship with God. He wants you to be into him more than you are into that girl, that boy, that husband, or that wife. I love my husband. I love my husband's dirty drawers, okay? Yes, because I washed them. But I have to love the Most High more. And I do. And a lot of times I know it's easy to get caught up in feeling like, oh, well, I'm living righteously. I'm keeping the laws. You know, I'm not out here clubbing. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm at home, so I'm good. And so you neglect the other parts of your spiritual life. And yes, all praises for you keeping the law. All praises for you being a good mom. All praises for you being a good wife. All praises for all of that. But where's your personal relationship with the Most High? Because there's going to come a time when it's going to be hard for you to keep that law. And God will be the only person that can help you. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from all evil. Baby, you can't deliver yourself from evil. If that was the case, then none of us would be wicked. None of us would be. And that pride of life will have you thinking, oh, I got this under control. It's easy to think that you have a problem under control when you are not around it. It's easy to think that somebody saying yo mama doesn't bother you if you're not around somebody that's constantly saying yo mama. But as soon as you get in a room with that person and y'all get to arguing and they first come back as yo mama, and now you see like, oh, I'm not as healed as I thought I was. You have to be interacting with the thing to find out if it affects you or not. I can't tell you I'm allergic to an apple if I never ate one. So I can't tell you anything about the Most High because we don't have a relationship. I don't talk to him. I think that everything that I do is of my own being. I got up this morning because my alarm clock went off. I ate breakfast this morning because I got up and cooked it. Not I got up this morning because the Most High saw fit to bless me with another day. It's not, oh, I had breakfast because he provided for me. No, it's me, and I, and this is what I do. And this is why you need to unplug yourself and take a step back and look at what's really going on around you. Prayer allows you to step outside of yourself for a moment and look not just at your part, but the parts of the people around you. How are you interacting with this one? Some days I wake up and I pray and the Lord will deal with me specifically with one child. The other day, I got up and prayed and my middle child was on my mind so bad. So I prayed for her and, kept going about my day. Later on, she came to me and was like, Mom, can you help me with my hair? Because she had went and got her hair done. She didn't like it. So she was like, can you help me redo my hair? So we sitting there talking and I'm doing her hair and y'all, the same exact stuff that I was praying about is the same exact stuff that me and her ended up talking about. And I'm not going to lie, like it was one of those life conversations that I probably wouldn't have been prepared for if I had not prayed about it first. But so this is what I'm saying. I got to cut off my brain so I can download the new information. Because if I had not had that new information from the Most High, I'm going into this conversation with my child with old information. So now anything I say is not relevant. And I could possibly be making her feel hopeless. I could possibly be making her feel like, dang, she doesn't even see I'm trying to change. Because she was telling me like, I've been working on my relationship. She have her struggles like we all have. Okay. And so she's telling me like, no, I'm really trying to overcome this thing. I've been working on my relationship with the Most High. I've been reading my word. I've been praying, da. And so if I had not been downloaded with new information, I would have still came to her, reminding her of what she used to do and who she used to be. I would have still came to her talking about the old her when she's telling me, no, I'm currently trying to renew my mind and put on a new person. Okay, and so this is why I'm saying, like, you have to unplug yourself, especially when you're dealing with other people's lives in your hands, or heck, even your own. I'm not trying to downplay your own. Your own life is precious. Your own life is important. You need guidance for the day. You don't know what you're going to encounter. The Most High does. He already knows everything that's going to happen to you. And so another one of my adamant prayers, please go before me and make my way straight. Go before me. Work out any obstacles or make the answers come easy to me. I mean, it is literally down to the minute detail like that. Because do you know what a phone update sometimes can consist of? It could be anything. It could be a patch from a hole. It could be a new feature. It could be something that affects your battery life. It can be anything. But you'll never know if you don't cut this phone off. I mean, have you ever like been driving and you've been behind somebody and they're so slow and you're like, oh my gosh. And then you'll have the thought like, this could be keeping you from something. Are you ever been trying to leave and you're running late and every time it's like you constantly leaving something at home and you got to keep calling, and then you stop and think like, maybe God's trying to protect me from something. If you don't unplug, you won't recognize these moments because you're not allowing yourself a chance to download the new information. You're still worried about yesterday. You're still worried about that thing that you can't control. You're still worried about what your husband said that got on your nerves. You're still worried about what so-and-so said and how that pissed you off. You're so worried about things that you can't do anything about that you miss new information, new opportunities. Even if it's an opportunity to give the Most High praise for something, you miss these opportunities. You'll totally let it pass you by because you will not stop and get out of yourself. We are so, we live in a society where it's always hustle, 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 go, 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 get that money, get that money. And that's all everybody ever thinks about. And it has caused us to, I don't want to say self-sufficient, because even though you think you are, like, I hate to hear people say, oh, I'm self-made. Are you? Are you really? But nah, Shalom, Shalom, and Shalom, sis. Thank you for joining me. Are you really self-made? So you created yourself, you gave yourself life, you're self-made. I hate that term because it is the most misleading, misguiding term ever. No one is self-made. Not even the vessels of dishonor. You know how the Bible talks about vessels of honor and vessels of dishonor? They don't even have control over being a vessel of dishonor. And I'm going to tell y'all something. Like, I don't take it for granted, because just like I'm sitting here in my right mind talking to you all with every intention of my heart of being a messenger of the Most High, I could be sitting somewhere in a corner tomorrow banging my head on the wall and drooling on myself. It's not of works, lest any man should boast. It's nothing that I can do. There is nothing that I can do to change the mind of God about me. Can I go and talk? Yes. Can I find? Yes. But I can't do anything to change what the Most High had laid out for me. It is not in and of myself any condition that is in my life. I don't think people understand how quickly it is to be in a totally different situation from what you went to sleep in. There are people who go to sleep and everything's fine, and they wake up and there's a tree in their living room, or there's a car in their living room, or their house is on fire. there's so much that's out of our control. The Most High tells us not to worry about tomorrow because you can't add or take away from it. There literally cannot do anything about it. And instead of you putting your pride down, stepping out of yourself and realizing like, I have no power here, but what I do have is the all-knowing, all-powerful, almighty, all-seeing God on my side. Let me go talk to him about it. That's just like if some man come up to me talking crazy and I'm sitting here trying to argue, that is the dumbest thing ever. I got something for you. Stand right here. I got something for you. I'm going to get my husband. I'm not about to. But some of y'all will constantly let life kick your behind instead of going and getting the backup. There was a guy that came here, a white man came here, rung the doorbell and would not leave. Like he was selling something and we kept telling him, we're not interested. We're not interested. I closed the door in his face. My husband's on the Ring camera and the guy's still talking and my husband kept telling him, we're not interested. Leave. So I'm saying it again, like you need to leave. The way he left, you can go. So when you're leaving my house, you can walk up some steps and it'll put you on a sidewalk. Or you can go off to the side, but we usually do that if we're going to the backyard or whatever. So this man goes to the side of my house instead of walking up to the sidewalk. And I'm scared. Okay, it's me and the kids home by ourselves. I don't know what's going on. I forgot we got them 3 big old dogs that look like cows down there. But it was a panicky moment for me and my husband wasn't home. I'm not going outside to confront this man by myself. Now, I did not go and grab my gun at the moment. I picked up the phone and I called the police. Okay. But I had protection. Like I had something that I could have went to go get if I needed to. I'm not putting myself in the line of fire and dealing with this on my own. I'm going to go get the answer to this problem if you want to make it a problem. Okay. And a lot of y'all, unfortunately, y'all will stand right in front of the thing that is intended to destroy you. And for some reason, think that you can battle it on your own. And see, what's so funny is the thing that's intended to destroy you it's not coming out shooting at you. And that's what y'all don't realize. It's that man that keep whispering in your ear and telling you how much he loves you, but he does everything wrong. It's that friendship that you can't seem to let go of, even though every time you turn around, they hurting your feelings, they saying something crazy, and you just sometimes. And this is the thing, the wolf in sheep's clothing, the mask that we're talking about. I'm not. Subterfuge is what it's called. Subterfuge, manipulation. Okay. I'm not going to straight come out and tell you, see, y'all got to watch Game of Thrones. Y'all have to watch Game of Thrones because it's just so many biblical principles that are played out in this show. And this is why I like period pieces, because it's just, it's wild. Okay. But so there's always someone or something seeking to knock you from where you are. Okay. Whatever level you've accomplished in life, there's something coming to tempt you away from that. You've prayed for years and years and years, like, Lord, please, I want a husband. I just want a good husband. I just want a husband and I want a beautiful, healthy family. Lord, please. And you prayed and you prayed and you prayed. Hold on, y'all. I'm grabbing this fan. I'm getting hot. You prayed and you prayed and you prayed and you finally get everything that you prayed for, right? You got the husband, you got the house, you got the kids, you got the car. Everything is gravy. And then you go and start stepping out on your husband. I know a woman. I know a lady who was happily married, had a baby, they was doing their thing. She decided she wants to go cheat on her husband, ends up catching HIV. Now, the husband doesn't have it. Well, he's the ex-husband now. He of course they divorced and he's remarried and moved on with his life. But she had contracted a death sentence. When you feel the need to throw away everything that you have worked so hard for, it is time for you to unplug yourself and take a step back and check in with the Most High and see what's going on. Life gets overwhelming. It does. Even if you're living in a situation you pray for, sometimes it just gets overwhelming. It's life. Every day is not going to be sunshine and roses. You're going to have days where you have problems. You're going to have days when you and your husband can't stand each other. You're going to have days when them kids is just working your last nerve. And I want to encourage you, please step back out of yourself. Take a few moments and really reconnect with the Most High. Okay. And don't worry about like a time limit. Don't go and set your phone for an hour and like, okay, I'm going to make myself pray for a whole hour. It'll come. It'll come. I found that prayer is like any other muscle you exercise. The more you use it, the stronger it gets and the longer you can do the workout. Okay. I know this is not a popular topic. It's not something that people talk about. The Tyler Perry movie. What Tyler Perry movie? Don't tell Angelina. You know I do not like Tyler Perry. And I refuse to watch Divorce in Black. Like, I've heard some horrible reviews about this. Oh, a 0 on Rotten Tomatoes. A 0 on Rotten. What? I don't know when the last time I ever seen a movie get 0 on Rotten Tomatoes. Okay. But I can't stand Tyler Perry at all. So you got to tell me what you're talking about. But yeah, so the more you pray, the stronger your prayer life becomes. And some of us were just gifted with the gift of prayer. Like for me, it's no problem. I love to pray. Like y'all, all right, come on, let's go. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's never hard. But this one, he was. I don't like his movies either, but this one he wasn't dressed up like that woman. Okay. He was in the movie though. He was in the new one. What was I saying? Your prayer life. Yes. Okay. So, So I'm not saying that it's never hard. Okay. As much as I love to pray, yes, there are some days when it's hard for me. There are some days when it's like, I don't want to, just to be honest, I'm just going to be honest. All right. It's not easy every day, but the benefits from it are amazing. Like the benefits outweigh the work. You know how you go to work and you get paid and you be looking at your paycheck like this ain't even. Nah, the benefits of prayer totally astronomically exponentially outweigh the work. And y'all are funny. The benefits to prayer totally outweigh the work in it. And I know you're like, why is it work? Listen, it's work because you are literally standing in front of an all-encompassing, again, all-knowing, all-seeing, Most High God, the Creator who sits high and looks low, which means there's literally nothing you can hide from him. Have you ever watched a group of ants work? And it may seem like a bunch of ants, right? But because you're standing over the ants, you can see each and every one of them. You can see who's carrying what, who's going where, which two get in a fight, who's following who, what time this one came out the hill. You are able to see all of these things because you are looking over them. And this is one of the viewpoints I learned in college studying religion. And we were talking about God being all knowing and all seeing. And we were trying to figure out how, does he exist in every area of time? Or is it that he sits so high above us, he's able to see all these things at one time? However he does it, I don't know. I'm just glad that he can do it. Okay. And so what you have to understand is you can't go in prayer raggedy. You can't go in prayer thinking you about to lie or hide anything, because he's going to call you out on it. And at that moment that he calls you out, you're either going to have to accept it or you're going to have to repent and work through it. And so, he'll call you out in private. What you don't want is for him to call you out in public and expose you. So I suggest you deal with it in private, whoever that's for and whatever you're going through. There's always a warning before destruction. There's always a warning before punishment. I don't know how y'all parents did it, but my mom, she'll talk to you a few times. All right, don't do that no more. All right, now this is my second time telling you, don't do that no more. Okay, by the third time, you have convinced me that you just don't want to hear what I have to say, and so now we got to deal with you. Just like in the Bible, when it says, if you go to a brother one time about his error and he's not hearing you, go again. And then after that, leave him to his belligerence. Okay, but the Most High, listen, I myself have been in some situations where I knew I was wrong, and I felt the Most High telling me multiple times, exit this situation. You need to leave this situation. You need to go back home. You don't need to be here. You need to leave him alone. And every time I did not listen, because it wasn't just one time, it'd be 2 and 3 times. It'd be signs, stages, and wonders. And I just did not listen. And every time I did not listen, a disaster ensued. Okay? Well, I'm going to tell you this one, and see here, I don't know why. I'm going to just say it. Here's the thing. When you be wrong. And you know the degree to which you be wrong. There was a time in my life when I was making choices that I knew if I got caught, I was going to prison, not jail, prison for a long time. Okay, a long time. All right. I kept doing it. And then it became unbearable. Okay? Because I was praying, but I wasn't living like I should have. You understand what I'm saying? Hence me out there doing things that would have caused me to go to prison. Okay? So the warning and the fear of God removing his grace and allowing me to get caught, it was too much. I mean, I was in my 30s at this time. Yes, I can admit it. I was in my 30s, my early 30s, making stupid decisions. And if I would not, I think back so many times, if I would not, who knows what would have happened? And a lot of times, I can be honest and tell y'all, a lot of times when I have decided to stay in situations, it's because that pride of life got in the way. And I figure, oh, well, I can fix this. I can do this. No, it's not going to turn out like that. I'm going to make this turn out in my favor. As if the Creator himself was not talking to me. I'm ignoring him as if he's just a nobody, as if he's just some regular person. I'm ignoring him like he don't know it all, see it all. I'm ignoring him, thinking that I and myself have better answers. And I'm just talking about me, hoping that maybe, you know what I'm saying, you can relate personally, because I don't know your journey. But I'm sure we've all had those moments. When you don't want to pray is usually the time you definitely should be praying. Absolutely. That's when you need to pray the hardest, because it's something keeping you from wanting to pray. And a lot of times we don't like to discuss the verse in the Bible where it talks about the Lord has created good and evil. One is in his right hand, one is in his left hand. We don't like to talk about that. Okay. And so we'll never get to the point where we're ready to discuss, like, is this the enemy trying to stop me, or is this the Most High testing me? Because sometimes when you don't want to pray, it is just a test. All right, how much you want to come after me? And why God got to test me? Why God got to test me? Why not? Did you not recall in the Exodus when he sacrificed a Pharaoh and all his government officials who was on the horses and chariots to save his own children? It would have been too easy for Moses to go up to him the first time and Pharaoh been like, you know what, you right. Party on, y'all. Go ahead. Whatever. That would have been too easy. What opportunity would God have had to show himself? What opportunity would he have had to show these people how much he loved him? And what opportunity would he have had to show his enemies, hey, don't play with my kids? But a lot of times y'all don't like to work things out. I remember my mom told me a long time ago, you'll never find out how much a man will do for you if you don't wait it out. You'll never know how much he loves you because you don't wait anything out. You don't let the process take place. And that's what a lot of us do. We feel like, oh, we got the answers. So I want to avoid going through all this. So I'm going to just do it my way. The whole time God is telling you, okay, pray and wait, pray and wait, pray and wait. But you don't want to wait. You don't want to wait. You want him right now. You want that job right now. You got to tell this person off right now. You're going to air it out right now. There's no wait. There's no order. There's no decency. We just going to do what we want to do. And then when you wind up in hell, when your life is in shambles, you want to run to the Most High. You want him to pop you in a microwave for 5 minutes and pull you out and everything's supposed to be okay. Well, ma'am, sis, cousin, you didn't get yourself in that mess in just 5 minutes. So it's going to take a while for you to come out of it. But what I want to do is encourage you on your way out. Like, keep going. Don't stop. Because if you stop on your way out, there's just more dirt coming. Like, if you've ever dug a hole, and you're trying to plant, when you stop digging that hole, the dirt comes back. Why wouldn't it? It just rolls right on back. Same thing when you're on your way out of a situation and you just decide that you're going to stand there because it's too hard to keep going. You don't want to lean on your help. You rather lean in the arms of flesh. You rather take the easy advice from people who don't know. And while we talking about that, be careful of people who always got the answers. Like, you always got an answer. Always. Be careful of that. It's like we was talking earlier about the dictators and how they attract people or how they get people to allow them to rule over them. Oh, I got all the answers for you. You need me. Just how our government, I got the answers for you. You can't eat. I got the answers. You need a doc. I got the answers for anything you need. Run from them. Run from them. If they ain't never telling you, baby, you need to seek the Lord for yourself, run from them. They don't want you to have a personal relationship with the Most High. They want to be your God. They want you to be constantly dependent on them for everything. It's just like right now, Atticus, okay? Atticus is 6 years old. But Atticus wants to help do everything he sees me do. If I'm cooking, he wants to help. If I'm cleaning, he wants to help. He wants to help do laundry. He wants to help with the chickens. He wants to help. And I let him help me because I know that these are the skills that he's going to need for life. And because I love my child and I want him to have the best life he possibly can, I want him to be as learned and self-sufficient as possible. So I'm going to let him figure some stuff out on his own. I'm not always going to be there to tell him. Like, one time he was struggling with opening the biscuits. I had shown him and his brother multiple times, peel the paper, crack it at the line. I'm not going to keep telling you. You figure it out yourself now. It's just the way the Most High do us. You read your word, you hear the word over and over again. And now it's time for you to apply it. No, I'm not telling you again. Recall what you, just like when you're in school and you have a test, the teacher's not going to teach you the material. You got to recall what you learned and apply it in order to pass this test. But y'all won't go get the information. Y'all trying to take a 2024 test on 2022 information. And it's not the same. It's not going to work. Your life is not the same. You're not the same person you were 2 years ago, and neither are the people around you. But you're still operating in that 2022 mindset, still doing 2022 things, and you wonder why no one wants to be around you. You won't grow. You're immature. You're still acting like a kid. We're all 40, 30, 40-year-olds. We've all learned communication. We've all learned how to sit down and talk in a healthy manner, or else we should, but you want to operate like a child. Because you won't unplug yourself and get the new information. His mercies are new each day. What do y'all think that means? What do you think new mercies? You're not going to clock in and get it? You're not going to clock in and sometimes the mercy is a warning. Sometimes the mercy is the Most High warning you about something. Like you'll never get. I had to tell my child the other day. And she's not a social butterfly, but people flock to her. It's like she's one of those people that everybody loves, but she don't want to be bothered with nobody. I can't explain it. It's the weirdest thing because she's like, okay, but everybody love this girl. And so I had to explain to her, like, baby, people love the idea of you. They love what you give off. They love your general, they love what they know about you in general, right? But once they get to know you, they may discover that they don't really like you. Once they get to know you, that one thing that they hate, like they one pet peeve, may be the thing that you do all the time, and now they can't stand to be around you. And so that's how we treat the Most High, right? Because we love the idea of him. Of course, we love the idea of God being on our side, the creator of the universe, protecting us and watching over us. We love this idea. But once we get into relationship and we get to know him, then we decide that we don't know. You want too much. You require too much. What do you mean I can't do what I want to do and still love you? What do you mean I have to change? What do you mean I have to grow? We love the idea of the Most High. But once you start that relationship, then you start to discover things, right? It's just, I mean, come on, y'all had that crush on that guy in school, and he was just so amazing. But then, like, you went out on a date and realized he was a total pig, or you walked up close to him and you realized he stank. Something that you learned in building a relationship with this person revealed the truth about them, and you decided you don't want it no more. And a lot of y'all are treating God like that. Every time you turn around, you quote unquote repenting. And I say quote unquote because repent means to turn away. And I'm not saying we don't struggle with sin. I'm not saying that. Everybody got their struggles. Everybody got their hangups, their vices, and their things. But it's one thing to struggle. It's another thing to just wallow in it and give up. That's a total different thing. And at the point where, look, if I tell you that I don't like it when you wear yellow shirts. I can't stand yellow shirts. I hate it when you wear yellow shirts. But every time I turn around, you in a yellow shirt, I don't want to be bothered with you no more because you keep doing the thing that I say that I don't like. Why do you feel like that God has to put up with you in that same behavior? I don't like when you're mean to your kids. I don't like when you don't listen to your husband. I don't like when you're not kind. I don't like those things. And instead of you unplugging yourself, examining yourself, coming to the Most High and saying, Lord, I know this doesn't I know this about me you don't like. Please help me to change it. You'll just continue to do the thing that he does not like, but then gets upset when he is not as relevant, prevalent in your life. And the only reason he isn't relevant and prevalent is because of you. It's not because of him. He's like a tree standing by the water. He ain't going nowhere. He's going nowhere. It's you that distance yourself and then come in closer, and then you distance yourself and then you come in closer. He's never changed. He's been there the whole time. You come in closer and he starts getting real with you. And that's the thing. A lot of y'all say y'all want a real prayer life, but you're not ready for God to deal with you like that. You're not ready to really hear what he has to say. You're not. And you get in and you get a little glimpse of that. And then you decide, I don't want this. It's too much. And then you want to walk away. We are living in a day and time when life is so unpredictable and crazy and yet still precious. The gap that you leave when you walk away from the Most High. Nah, man, that's crazy. It's too much stuff that can happen. My husband don't like when I leave the house. He don't like it. I can be going to Kroger. I can be going to get my nails done. I can be going anywhere. He hates it. And I know, like he immediately, like his whole attitude changed. Why you got to leave? Why you got to go somewhere? He even got the boys looking at me the same way. Well, why do you have to leave? You don't have to go anywhere. You just stay here. Why he don't like that? Because anything can happen to me and he's not there to put his hand on me and protect me. He's not there to interfere with whatever could be trying to go on. And I'm not saying this to limit God's power, but I need you to understand that he's not a punk, that he's not one of these punks that you just treat any kind of way and then call him when you need a couple of dollars and he gonna give it to you because he's just so desperate for your attention. God is not like that. He not no low self-esteem, waiting on you to call, playing sad Drake songs until you make up your mind about your salvation. That's not what's going on. And what you need to understand that, honey, if you're not ready to play your role, there's someone who is. We're all just vessels. We're all just people. It's like look, I have multiple pots that are the same size, right? The big pots that you can boil water in, like a Dutch oven. Okay. I have multiple pots that size. So if this pot it got something in it, or this pot is still in the refrigerator with leftovers, no problem. I'll just go get one that's available. I don't know why you think that the Most High doesn't have the same right to treat us that way when we are like the pots. We are his vessels. We are there for him to use as he sees fit. Okay. And you decide that you're occupied with something else. Let me go get an empty vessel. Let me go get a willing and able vessel. I'm not going to fight with you. I don't have to fight with you to give you the blessing that was designed for you from the beginning of time. Why should God have to wrestle you down? He's not like that. He's going to wait for you to, and hear what I'm saying. This is not a inflection, reflection, insertion, whatever, into the free will argument. That's not what this is about, okay? Because elect and not elect, vessels of honor and vessels of dishonor, your life is going to end up the way the Most High said that it was going to end up, because he's not a man that he should lie, and his word will never come back to him void. Okay, so what you can do is you can get on the boat, buckle your seatbelt, and enjoy the ride that obedience can bring you. Okay. Or you decide to live in open rebellion and then you deal with the consequences of disobedience. But guess what you will be doing? You will be preaching the word of God wherever you go, in prison, in the hospital, insane asylum, war-torn country, wherever you decide that you was trying to run from God from. Because Jonas didn't stay in that whale's belly forever. And when he was spit out, guess what he came? Let me go do what the Most High told me to do. And here's another thing that y'all need to understand. And I had to explain this to my daughter. And, just like I get here and be honest with y'all, I'm honest with them to a point, to a fault. Like my own mother has told me, like, you don't need to tell them all that. Yes, I do. I'm going to tell them. They're going to hear it from me. Okay. One of the things that I know that I regret the most about the years that I spent living in rebellion and disobedience is having to look back on those years and not having great memories. Having to look back at that time and just it makes me sick to my stomach when I think about like how I was living and what could have happened to me. That is, I hate that. I hate that. And I tell my daughter that too. I tell all of them. That is one of the worst things about living in disobedience is the regret that you have to live with. And yes, you can pray about it. Yes, the Most High will ease that burden on your mind, but it's still there. I don't have a lot of memories in my 20s that I can look back on, besides the birth of my kids, that I can look back on and smile and be like, oh, wow, that was such a great time in my life. No, because I was out here just living like a fool, chasing everything that glitters and was not gold. The consequences of sin run deeper than you will ever know at the time that you are committing the sin. That's the thing about sin. It don't show all of its consequences and just how far these tentacles can reach until you've committed the sin. Think about a person that steps out and has an affair, right? That man never intended for his side chick to call his wife. He never intended to lose his family. He never intended for the side chick to bust out the windows and slice up his tires. You have choices that you can make, but you cannot choose the consequences of those choices. You can choose to go to Walmart and steal. You can't choose if they're going to arrest you this time or not. Sure, you can choose the wrong. It's just like when you're in an argument with somebody. You can say whatever you want to say. But now whatever this person says next, you have no control over that. Okay? And now they come way out of left field and now you're up here ready to fight. Obedience is better than sacrifice. And a lot of times, if you're obedient, then you won't have to sacrifice things. I wish we would understand that. We like to buffet style God, pick and choose what we like and ignore what we don't like. Exactly. That is exactly the perfect way to describe it, a buffet. I'll have some grace. I'll have some mercy. Don't want none of that obedience. Don't want none of that honesty. Don't want none of that integrity. I'll take some money, though. If you got some of that, I'll take the houses and the land. I'll take that. Sure, I'll even take being called the Israelite. I love being called the Israelite. Yep, yes, I know exactly where I came from. Them laws and commandments, though, you can keep them. That not eating pork, and you can keep that. And that's not, how would you feel if somebody treated you that way? Like, I only want to deal with you when you're happy. If you're having a bad day, don't call me. If you're not feeling good, don't call me. If you're not in a jovial mood and you're not ready to entertain me, don't call me. How would you feel if somebody was treating you like that? How do you think that you as a human have the feelings that you have if your creator did not have them? The creator cannot give you anything that it does not have. If I was to sit here and say I was sewing wigs, okay, I have to have the materials. I have to have the ideas. I have to have the design, the color pattern, like whatever I want this wig to be, it already has to be inside of me in order for me to present it in a physical form. When I write, these are my thoughts that I've already had, and now I'm putting it on paper for people to read. There's nothing that the creator gave you that he didn't have already. So all of these feelings that you have, why do you feel like God does not feel them as well? The only difference is he's the Most High. So he doesn't struggle with things like self-control. He doesn't struggle with temptation. He doesn't struggle with lying like we do. He doesn't struggle with the negative effects that our bad behavior has on his feelings. Like somebody do something bad for you, what's the first thing you usually think about? I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I want revenge. Like, oh, you hurt my feelings, I'm gonna hurt yours too. You want to talk about me? Okay, I'm gonna talk about you too. That is my first thought in my flesh. Okay, but as a person who's striving to live right, who wants to be right with the Most High, how would the Most High want me to handle this? Is my controlling thought. Okay, there's your first thought, and sometimes you just can't help your first thought. Sometimes it was just how you was raised. It was how you came up. You know, it's force of habit. Like if I see a cheeseburger, I'm gonna eat that cheeseburger. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things. Like you can't help your first thought, but your second thought should be your controlling thought. This should be the one that you control and that you pick consciously. Like, yes, I see that cheeseburger, but I probably don't need it. You know what I'm saying? Like my waistline is telling me I don't need this right now. That's my controlling thought. So even if I am moved to anger, even if my feelings are hurt, my controlling thought is going to be how is the Most High going to be pleased with me handling this situation? Because like I said earlier, if I'm outside arguing with a man and I'm arguing, if a man is arguing at me and I argue back with him, I don't give my husband room to handle the situation the right way. I'm going about it all wrong. And right or wrong, this situation has been addressed. So what does my husband look like coming after me after I'd already acted crazy? That's going to make him look crazy. So now instead of him coming out to defend me, instead of him coming out like, oh, dude, you're not going to talk to my wife like this, and that being the conversation, now it has to be a whole, I'm sorry for what my wife said. I don't know why she was talking to you crazy like that. That's my bad. And now it's a whole different outcome, a whole different situation. Now I got to deal with him when we get in the house. I got to live with my guilt. I got to go and deal with the Most High. Man, just step back and let him handle it. You don't have all the answers and you're not supposed to. You're never going to. You are not a self-made being. You're not a seahorse. You don't have both sex organs to create your own children. You understand what I'm saying? Like you don't have everything in you to create your own answers. You don't. If that's the case, then we will all live forever because we would know how to keep our hearts beating and our lungs moving forever, and we don't. We don't. It's in control of the Most High. And these may seem like simplistic principles to understand, but a lot of people do not grasp this concept. There's only listen, money answereth everything. Okay, the Bible says that. But even it's limited. Okay, because Yahweh forbid you end up in a hospital somewhere and if you have the right amount of money, you're going to get the best healthcare that money can buy. You got the right amount of money, you're going to have access to medicine and surgery and stuff that regular people, a person like me, would only dream of being able to even know about. Okay, all the experiments, all the advanced everything. If you have enough money, you have that. But what about when that's not enough? What about when God is just tired of you? What about when the judge finally says, no, you're not getting another chance. You've been on probation, you've been arrested, you serve time, and you just keep on acting up. You're not getting another chance. Then what? When your money is no good anymore, then what? When your looks are no good anymore, then what? And let me just tell y'all something, okay? It's not about becoming ugly or anything like that. As you get older, your looks are less effective. I'm going to just be honest with you. Okay. Listen, 20-year-old me was walking into places, getting stuff for free, getting sat first. Like, I mean, come on. 43-year-old me, not so much. Okay. And I'm okay with that. Like, that's just a natural part of life, but it happens to us all. And so this is why you this is why you do not lean into the arms of flesh. This is why you don't put your faith in these things on earth. Because it doesn't last. This is why you will find 40 and 45 and 50-year-old women still at a nightclub dressed like harassing younger men. Come on. I'm not trying to say that it is a simple thing. But man, like when you think about it, talking to a person that you like is something that you want to do. I be trying to be up under my husband all the time. I told him, like, you could just carry me around like a backpack. I just want to be with you. As a woman, one of the main reasons that I love being with my husband is because I know I'm safe with him. I know I'm protected with him. He ain't gonna let nothing happen to me. He ain't gonna let me do nothing crazy. He not gonna let nobody do nothing crazy to me. He gonna make sure I'm good. He's gonna make sure I'm comfortable. He's gonna make sure I'm safe. How much more do you think that the Most High cares for you? And what you gotta stop doing is you gotta stop blaming the consequences of your independently made decisions on God. Like you don't have a car or whatever. You just started praying yesterday. And now you want to talk to God about, well, why I don't have a car and why this and why that. No, see, let's separate the natural from the spiritual. And I think this is where the prosperity gospel messed us up, because they made us feel like the natural acts of making money was a spiritual thing. And it's not, because even the Bible says that if a man doesn't work, he doesn't eat. It's spiritual in that, yes, the Most High provides the opportunity for you to make an income. But the work that you do yourself, that determines the amount of your income. And so you can't blame God for your laziness. In Psalms, it talks about loving sleep to the point of poverty. Some of y'all are just, the Lord will provide. And instead of you realizing that the Lord provides opportunities to work, you think for some reason that, oh, I'm just going to keep getting checks in the mail. Y'all been watching too many of them Peter Popoff miracle water commercials. And now you feel like, oh, all of my prayers are going to be answered. It's going to be checks in the mail. Stacy Phillips, shalom and shalom. Thank you for joining me. Stop blaming God for decisions that you made without him. He wasn't nowhere in that decision. You didn't consult him. You didn't ask him. You didn't even bat an eye. You just did what you wanted to do. You knew you shouldn't have bought that car with your tax return money. You knew you couldn't afford the car note. You knew you couldn't afford the car note. You just fooled yourself into thinking the Lord wants me to have this. It's my turn. So I'm going to get this. And then 3 months, 4 months later, when they repossessing your car, the blessings of the Lord maketh rich and addeth no sorrow. So if God gave you that, he wouldn't have turned around and took it from you, babe. Come on. Let's be realistic. Like, we refuse to be realistic with the spirit realm. You refuse to be realistic with your human abilities, your human potential, and the Most High's expectations of you. You refuse to be realistic about that. You feel like because you name it and claim it, because you manifest it, because you pay your tithes and offering, that for some reason you walk in this invincibility cloak or whatever. I don't know where that's from, invincibility cloak. But you feel like you walk in this ethereal realm where the things that plague us people living in the third dimension, it doesn't bother you. But that's not true. The laws of the Most High reign on the just as well as the unjust. The principle of staying in the bed too long and poverty creeping upon you, that applies to the just as well as the unjust. How you think Elon Musk got all them billions and millions of dollars? I'm not saying it wasn't some crookedness going on, but we can't deny that the man got up and started working. Look at Jeff Bezos, started Amazon in his garage and he kept on working. Now, to get to the millions and the billions, of course, there was some shady shenanigans going on, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about at the very beginning. There are people who will come to our home. Hey, baby. Hi, Alex. Sleep. Paxton sleep. As usual. Paxton always falling. Oh, he's not asleep. Y'all are silly. You see, I forgot my thought. Is Shira down here? Why is Shira down here?
She wants to be in your podcast.
She wanted to be on my podcast. Well, y'all can't see the dog, but she walking around down here. Where's Daddy? He just let her walk in here.
I let her walk in here.
What was I saying?
I don't hear you from the TV.
You didn't hear? Oh, maybe he had it all the way down because he can hear me in here. Hey, Auntie Angelina says shalom. Handsome, cool nephews. Miss you guys. Oh. But you are handsome and cool.
I miss you, Auntie Angelina.
Aw. See, okay, so this is our cousin Stacy. She said hi. This is one of our cousins.
No, wait, this is my cousin too.
Yes, she's your cousin too. Go ahead, read it out loud, Atticus. Read it so everybody can hear it.
There he is, drinking your water.
Right, drinking my water. See, the people know that you come down here to drink my water, Atticus. You got to stop doing that. Yeah.
Touche.
I don't know where this boy get his vocabulary from. He's off the
Touche.
chain. But so to wrap it up, as we've been invaded, and you're drinking my water again. I'm gonna get a PIN number for my straw, and you're not gonna be able to drink it. Give me that, chump.
I'm not sure there's no such thing as a PIN number.
There is such thing as a PIN
What
number.
does it do?
It's like you know how if I want to use your phone and I can't unlock it with my face, I have to put your numbers in, the passcode. Yeah, you can't do that. You're only 8 years old. I'm gonna get in that phone. So I just wanted to take a moment to encourage you guys, please, like unplug yourself, get your prayer life back on track. Okay. I know it's hard. It is work. Okay. It is work. That's why a lot of people don't like to pray. But please, it's like the most important thing you can do for yourself. Okay, say Jeff Bezos, say you had access to Jeff Bezos whenever you wanted, right? And you're trying to start your online retail business, and you can call this man up whenever you want and ask him whatever question you want, and he's always going to answer the phone, and he's always going to give you an answer. And even if he has to tell you to wait a little while, he's getting an answer, he's working on, this. You would be picking up that phone every day. Every day, even if it was just to check what you had planned. Hey, do you think this sounds smart? Should I do this? What do you suggest? I don't understand why you won't do the same thing when you have access to the creator and the ruler of the universe. And by universe, I mean us. I don't understand. What?
Why did you say universe when you meant us?
Because sometimes it's interchangeable.
I don't get it.
Because I don't mean universe in the sense of like a galaxy in outer space. I just mean universe as far as our world in here. Maybe it was a bad word choice. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
You get it now?
Now
Okay.
I get it.
Now you get it? Okay, I'm glad you get it now. So anyway, so yes, please take this time, take this day, take this week. When we end here, have a word with the Most High. Be honest. Like, yeah, I know my prayer life has been slacking. Please forgive me. Please allow me some grace, and just start talking to him. Just start talking to him. And in whatever way he answers you, whether it's through a small, still voice or whether it's through physical signs, however he answers you, be listening or looking for that and then be willing to comply with that information. Okay. Because it's one thing for the Most High to tell you something, but if you're not willing to comply with the information and or apply it to your life, you might as well be talking to a brick wall. Okay. All right. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me this evening. Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live here at the House of Mono.
Guys, always drink your parents' water. Or your parents' drink.
No, do not always drink your parents' water. Why are you telling people that?
Always drink your parents' water.
But not Stacy, Angelina, Uncle Man. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me. Ahava, thank y'all so much for hanging out with me this evening. I really appreciate you guys. What? I expect my husband to go live on Saturday. We talked about it today. I believe that. Okay, I believe he will be going live on Saturday. So make sure y'all is tuned in to the YouTube at Monologue Magad, MONOLOG MAGAD. Where is it? Yes, make sure you like, share, subscribe. We are trying to get those subscribers up. Okay, go ahead. What you want to say, baby?
I just wanted to say to always get the print doctor shirts and the bouncies.
But you gotta tell them who do the bouncies, not the print doctors. What's the name of the company that we use for the bouncies?
Top tier party.
Top tier parties. And what about the dogs?
Mono's West Side Bullies.
Bono's West Side Bullies. Very
Can I
good.
say something?
Yeah, go ahead, baby. What you gotta say?
Oh yeah.
Anyway, okay. So listen, you can keep up with my family, all of our businesses and everything that we've got going on my social media at Miss Mono's World, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. You get some extras on TikTok because TikTok is just the environment for that. Like, I'm probably not gonna get on Facebook or Instagram with no makeup on, but you'll see me on TikTok with no makeup on and my head in a scarf and stuff. TikTok is just that kind of land. So what, baby? Yeah, that's an emoji. She's blowing you kisses.
No!
No, what?
Got a girlfriend, my boy.
That is our cousin, you guys.
Paxton has a girlfriend.
Paxton has a girlfriend.
Yes. When he said, "Oh,"
You do?
When he said, "Oh yeah,"
I was just saying words.
when
Oh,
he
you was
said,
just
"Oh
saying words.
yeah,"
You know I hear oh yes all night.
So anyway, okay, it's time to go. Where is your daddy? I've seen you walking the dogs in your socks. Yes, walking the dogs in my socks. See, that's the kind of stuff that goes on TikTok. And like, I could post that on TikTok and people will get it and they'll like interact with it. Whereas on Facebook, it'll be a nothing. So follow me on TikTok for the inside scoop. Okay, we're about to go before they say something else that they don't have no business saying. I love y'all so much. I love y'all so much. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight. Be looking out for my husband with a Sabbath class on Saturday. And I will be back here next Thursday. Thank you. Please take him out of here. Next Thursday, same black time, same black station. I hope to see you guys next week. I love you so much. Shalom, shalom, and good night.
Mono.
super clean. Daddy came
One time for my king doing king things. My beast hoes cause he know he got a good thing. I submit.
Tune in to Why Boaz Don't Want Your Ass with your host, Miss Mono.
Shalom and shalom, sisters and cousins, and praise the Lord, saints. It's your favorite housewife, Miss Mono.
Every Thursday from 8 to 10 p.m. Live on YouTube at Miss Mono's World and Monologue Magad. Now also available on the Saya TV on Roku and Fire Stick. Why Boaz Don't Want Your Ass. Don't miss it, sisters and cousins.
Let him save you in the end like a Seminole. Be-Is help me, shout it, let the ceiling go.
one time for the men doing cane
Fuck
thing.
king.
Dead Fred to the T.
Okay, go ahead.
Have a lovely night.